Poet, and this is my debut on Restream, where I am streaming to multiple platforms at once. And if this is working right now, I have achieved my goal for the week. So, hello. If we haven't met yet, it is good to meet you this way, and I invite everyone to reach out and connect via sarahpoet.com if you like what I'm about to say today. I may or may not catch every comment on every place that this video is going onto the internet, but at least it is reaching you, and then you can reach out to me. So, hello, I'm just so excited about this. I'm so excited about working smarter, not harder, as they say. So, today I want to talk about women in the workplace and the feminine in the workplace and feminine awakening, or you could call it sacred feminine awakening, and talking about some spoken trends, and then some things that like aren't quite talked about. And if you don't know me, you will quickly come to know that I like to talk about things that aren't talked about, very, very out in the open. I like to bring it out in the open. So that's my gig. I like to talk about what's really going on. So last night I was doing a little bit of research on, why women have left the workforce in the last few years. Um, and we all have, plenty of answers for that. And I know I personally left the more traditional workforce in 2018. And there were a couple of reasons. One, I had a calling. Two, things were going downhill quickly at work, and there were things that I just like wasn't going to, put up with anymore. And then three, it was like everything kind of converged, and it was all happening faster than I wanted it to necessarily. And so then I was like, I was doing it. I was on this entrepreneurial road. And, at the time, it looked pretty crazy. Like, at the time, it looked pretty insane because I had amazing resume that I had built up in education. I was a school designer and a school principal, and I loved it, and I was really good at it. And so it was like, why is she leaving? Why is she doing this? And I had this calling. But at the same time, things were like getting bad. And so, I have my own experience with like, what does it take for a woman to finally like throw in the towel, or finally make that leap toward what she wants to be doing? And if it looked a little crazy in 2018, guess what, now it doesn't. And we're seeing this like so often, that women are choosing to leave the workforce. And so did a little research last night on, as to why. And I was reading this Forbes article, and they were talking about increased workload, of course, over the last few years. The need for a work-life balance that wasn't really happening. Of course, women had more like unpaid labor during the pandemic that we had to attend to. And burnout, just like increased burnout due to all of the demands on women. And so I'm going to say that that's kind of like the category of reasons that the world is citing for this resignation of women from the workplace. I really like to talk about how the great resignation in the workplace is actually a sign of awakening on the planet, because we're saying we're not okay with what's been going on. And so we have these reasons that are like cited by things like Forbes, right? And the research heads. And then there are these unspoken things that are going on. And I already told you that I like to speak to the things that are not very often spoken about. And so the women that I work with, the women that come and find me because they know that, I made this leap from the amazing resume that I had established to really like building this thing of like my own brand, and putting my voice behind things that are not often talked about. And so it's like, well, what does that take? Right. And so the women that are coming to me that do career coaching with me, or a combination of career coaching and like spiritual awakening, wanting guidance for that. Um, I know that the reasons why women are leaving are actually deeper than what is talked about on the surface. And a couple of those reasons are: one, she's having some kind of awakening. So she knows that a purpose inside of her is greater than what she's able to give in the workforce. Maybe all of her is not welcome in the work environment, all of her skills and talents. And this is where, we get into some of the more archetypally feminine, behaviors, wants, desires, such as she wants to use her intuition, she wants to use deeper creativity, she wants to like go with her gut, right? And those kinds of things aren't necessarily understood yet in the workplace. Okay, I can help your workplace to understand and embrace the archetypal feminine along with the upgrades to the archetypal masculine in the workplace. And this is how we're going to increase equity and increase just like viability and retention and things like that at work, because we're not addressing the unspoken reasons why women are leaving work. Okay. So she wants to embrace all of herself. She wants all of her skills and talents to be welcome. And, there are divides that are created in the workplace, or just like by the nature of being in the workplace, that so significantly remember, and I hear this from my clients all the time. I feel like all of me isn't welcome here. I feel like I have to, have one foot in one world and one foot in another world. I feel like all of me isn't appreciated or welcome or known. And so that division of aspects of self is just not going to cut it anymore. Like, we want to bring all of ourselves to whatever we're doing, if it's going to work or if it is creating our own business or brand. And so, I see that awakening. To also speak to the feminine aspect, we have archetypal masculine and feminine. I talk about this at length in other places. My TEDx outlines this for you if you are new to this information. But the archetypal feminine has just been repressed for, thousands of years. And this is coming back through women, obviously. And so, while the workplace really only valued the archetypal masculine, but because it repressed the feminine, it wasn't even the conscious masculine in the workplace. It was like, more of an unconscious, and I can go into that in other live streams. Um, but it is the resurgence of the archetypal feminine that's happening energetically. It's happening in the planet. It's happening in our bodies. It's happening in all of us, no matter what our gender is. This archetypal feminine is coming back. Okay. And so that's happening, I would say, primarily through women's bodies, and women's spiritual awakenings. Okay. And then women want to have a place for that. They want to like experience that and express that. Not that that has to happen like in the workplace, but um, the workplace is going to be absolutely enhanced by allowing women to embrace all of themselves and bring this deep remembrance of who she is into these spaces. And as I've been just reflecting this week on some of the things I wanted to start to share in these live streams, the reason that I started my part of my brand is called Sacred Remembering. And sacred remembering is about that walk back to the self. Okay. And the truth is that these feminine gifts and talents and you know just like aspects of the soul that have been repressed, they contain so much knowledge and so much like deep innate wisdom that our world has actually cut off. And I think we're all suffering for it. And so as this starts to come back through women and we're experiencing the sacred remembrance, it is such a brave walk for a woman um to walk back to herself in that way. And so we need to make it, such that she doesn't have to abandon everything she has known or has built up. And maybe she wants to take some of that with her. But, like, what is the expression that her remembrance, that her authenticity, that her emergence really wants to take on? How does she want to do that? And so I think that we also have a lot of women who are leaving the workforce to explore that expression. That's what I see. That's what I see. The feminine is rising, and it hasn't necessarily had a place in the workplace. And so, how do we diversify? How do we welcome all parts of her so that she doesn't have to leave? And we also broaden the capacity and potential of the workplace when we begin to re-embrace or reintroduce or introduce for the first time some of these archetypally feminine ways of knowing, ways of being, ways of relating, collaborating. Okay. So check out the Sacred Remembering podcast. I've been making that for quite a few years now, and that has stories for each woman's remembrance. Also, check out sarahpoet.com for personal one on one support if you are a woman who is going through these transitions. I see you, I get it. And yes, there is more information and deep knowing and sacred information inside of you than anyone has ever given credit for. So I will be the first to champion that if you need someone to champion that. And also, yeah, I work with companies and organizations to really begin to introduce this archetypal masculine and feminine, these aspects into leadership so that we can go way past the conscious or the gender conversation and like get more and more conscious about that and integrate that into the workplace. So that is my live for today. If you see this live on the network that you are watching, please go ahead and pop a comment as to, I saw it and this is my reaction. I want to make sure that these are streaming today as I begin to use this to stream to multiple places at once. So I'm Sarah Poet. It's so good to connect with you, to meet you, and check back tomorrow, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be going live with Rose Kaz of Lady Boss International, and we're going to talk about how woke is your business? How woke is your business? How conscious are you in your business? Okay, so we're going to be exploring that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay in touch. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.